What up, Boo Crew? It's your girl C. Marie here, back with another video and another story time. I'm gonna start having story time Wednesdays. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I'm gonna make it a thing. And today's story time is going to be about my C-section experience, how I found out the day I had my C-section, and then afterwards. And I will never forget, I was just going into the doctor's office to have a regular, checkup, a regular ultrasound, and they were just gonna see, how he was, where he was in my stomach and everything. And I will never forget, I was laying there and she's like, this doesn't feel like his head. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Keep in mind, I'm like 36, 37 weeks pregnant. So I'm already like kind of getting my brain ready for delivery and contractions and all those things that people, look forward to whenever it comes to, their first child and their first birth. They always, the woman always dreams about, like going through, contractions and, getting to the hospital and doing those pushes to get your baby out. But I didn't get to experience those things. I had a C-section with Zayden. But anyways, back to the story. I was in the doctor's office and they took me back for my ultrasound. And she was like, yep, he's breech, he sure is. And I'm 37 weeks pregnant, so I'm like, I don't want to hear this. And they gave me two options. Obviously, the C-section was an option. And then they said, or we can turn him. And in my mind, I'm like, yo guys is not turning a baby in my stomach. Like, no. Like, no. Like, it was like a 50-50 chance or something. Some type of percentage that the baby would turn in time for delivery. And I was like, no. I went ahead and I had to bite the bullet, and I went ahead and just scheduled my C-section, and I had him at 39 weeks and 1 day, something like that. But yes, I had my C-section scheduled for September 19th of 2016. Just the best day of my life. But the day of my C-section, that was a nightmare. I will never forget the day before my C-section. I couldn't sleep all night. My nerves were tore up. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat the whole day before. I was so nervous. I'm already like a nervous body anyways. I'm a nervous person. I have, some serious anxiety issues, and I was just like, I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't live. But I'll never forget, my C-section was scheduled for 9 o'clock that morning at Catawba at the pavilion, and amazing nurses, amazing birthing center. It was amazing, like amazing the entire time. But I went into Catawba and they got me prepped and ready around 9:05, and I was freaking out. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't control my breathing. I was like, y'all guys are gonna have to put my toe to sleep, because like I'm about to freak out. I'm about to have an anxiety attack. And my father-in-law, which works there, he came into the room and he's like, it's gonna be okay. We got a good team surrounding y'all, surrounding you through your C-section experience. It's gonna be amazing. Calm down, breathe through it. And it's like, I was just like, I got this. I got this. And then my dad comes in the room. Jesus, Lord have mercy. My dad's like me. He is a nervous person. So he was a wreck. He came in the freaking room. He was already crying. He was stressing out. And I was like, Steven, get him up out this room. Like, keep in mind, this is my father. But I was freaking out so bad. I was like, get him out of here. Get him out. I was freaking out so bad. But I got back to the OR, and they're getting me prepped and they're getting me ready. And basically I got a numbing shot, and then I got a spinal, which is like, an epidural, and it numbs everything from the waist down. And I leaned over and I hugged around this woman's back, and they put the shot in to numb me. And then I'll never forget, she was like, okay, this is the big one. This is the one where you've got to stay still. And whenever she told me that, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, if I don't stay still, I'm going to die. Like, this is the end of it. This is it. I was freaking out. But, you know, I had to keep calm. I had to keep calm for myself. I had to keep calm for my baby. But I leaned over, and they gave me the spinal. And then they turned me around on the table, and they put my legs up. And I didn't feel nothing. Like, all I remember my doctor saying is, we're about there. And I'm like, hold up, y'all guys already started? I mean, you don't feel anything. From like the top part of my stomach down, I couldn't feel anything. I was completely numb. And he started cutting and everything. And he's like, we're about there, we're about there. And then he's like, you're going to feel a little bit of pressure. And then I felt a little bit of pressure, and then I just felt empty. And like at that moment, I could have probably, like, I'm about to cry right now. At that moment, I could have probably cried, because like the feeling of like your baby coming into the world, and then like I just felt empty because it was nothing in my stomach. I wasn't, you know, protecting him in my belly anymore. Like, real life was about to begin. And Zayden was born at like 9:36, 9:37, somewhere around in there. And you see, I started getting prepped at like 9:05. So this C-section is quick. So they, my doctor, which is Dr. Walker, the best doctor, he did an awesome job on my delivery, an awesome job on my incision. It looks perfect. Like, you couldn't even tell nothing was ever done. But Dr. Walker came around the corner, and he's like, it's a boy. And they showed Zayden. He showed Zayden like this to me. And I just remember like tears flowing down my face. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was just crying. All right, you guys, I am back. Sorry about that. But I had went back to this like recovery type room, and they gave me like a shot of morphine in my leg right after they had took me off the table and everything. And then that's whenever I got to spend time with Zayden. We had more one-on-one time. We did skin to skin. You know, I just had that beautiful mother-son bonding time. But with a C-section, it's hard for you to get up out of bed, and you know, you're not very mobile like you want to be whenever your baby is first born. So Steven took care of all, you know, the first diapers, the first dirty diapers and everything. It was just a beautiful moment to, you know, even though I was in bed a lot of times, it was just a beautiful time to sit back and watch him, you know, do his fatherly duties. It was beautiful. But then after I was in the hospital for roughly 3 days, and then I got to go home, and that's whenever it set in. I was so nervous, you know, no nurses around, no nothing. But with a C-section and coming home, it's no joke. For like the first week or two, you can barely move. It's very, very, very harsh. But it was rough during the nights trying to feed him and trying to change him and stuff, because your abdominal muscles are so weak and it's so painful. Like, you can't even like, you know, like lean up in bed. You can't sleep comfortably or anything. But you know, I did what I had to do. And yeah, that is my C-section story. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe to your girl's channel. You feel me? You feel me. Anyways, until next time, do you boo. Do you boo. And another thing, ladies, your C-section experience is important. Just because you didn't have the regular traditional delivery, you didn't get to have it naturally maybe like you wanted to, your experience is strong and your experience is important. I mean, come on. It takes a strong person mentally to get through a C-section and to get through, you know, and overcome those fears as a mother. So good for you. I applaud you. I applaud myself. We did this, ladies. So don't ever look upon, you know, your mothering, you know, your mother experience that it was less than because you didn't get to have it the traditional way. Because this is the strong way, boo-boo. We did this daggone thing. So good for you.